Our next session is the candidates for the Kansas City Board of Public Utilities. We'll start out with opening remarks, and our first candidate will be Mary Gonzalez, an incumbent.
My name is Mary Gonzalez, and I'm running for re-election for the at-large position 1 for the BPU. I have been and will continue to be a strong and independent voice. I am one that makes sound and honest decisions that are only driven by what's best for you, the ratepayer, and for the utility. My strongest trait, I believe, is that I show up. I'm a good listener. If you call me, I will call you back. I might not get the result you're asking for, but I will try and I will listen. The BPU has around 600 employees. You all know them. They live in your neighborhood, around the corner, down the block from you. They contribute to our economy. They live here. They do the best job they can to keep your lights on and your water safe. They're responsible for our 9,000 traffic signals, our 6,000 fire hydrants, our 19,000 street lights, and the radio system that's used by our first responders, our police, sheriff, fire. They run a state-of-the-art water treatment plant. We have 4 pump stations and 1,000 miles of water pipes in a 150 square mile area. They meet face-to-face with about 500 customers per day. They take sometimes 900 calls per day. They go to work every day to do the best job that they know how. They've been the top givers in the United Way for about the last 5 years. The employee club through the, has raised about $500,000 for children's charities, and I'm very proud of our employees, and I'm very proud of the work they do in this community. Moving forward, I can't see how much is that, Cindy? Thank you. Moving forward, I know we have a lot to do. A few things that we should do are continue to communicate with our business customers and our community leaders to support goals and to foster economic development. We must continually upgrade our master plans for water and power so that we can identify potential for growth and mitigate the aging infrastructure. I'll just stop.
The challenger for this position is Brian Messmer. Brian?
Well, first off, I'd like to thank everybody for attending tonight and giving me the opportunity to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Brian Messmer, and I'm running for the BPU board because I want to be involved in decisions that impact our community. And a little bit about me personally. Myself and my wife were both raised in the Turner community and graduated from Turner High School. We've been married 31 years and have 2 children. Both of them graduated from Piper High School and earned their degrees attending right here, KCK Community College and UMKC. Our daughter, she's actually an RN and getting married to another Piper High School grad next week. Our son, he works for Cerner and just built a brand new home in Bonner Springs. As far as what my background is, business background, I have, my wife and I own rental properties, and we also own a local service company. It was started by my parents almost 50 years ago in Kansas City, Kansas, right in the Turner area in 1970. I've worked in the service industry and customer service business for over 30 years. So I deal with the public on a daily basis, and I am very well aware of the importance of listening to people and addressing their issues and concerns. Thank you.
Okay. Next is John Martindale, and he is BPU at large, 2nd District.
As you said, my name is John Martindale, and the reason I'm running for BPU is I get a lot of questions from my family, from my friends, and for some reason I'm a third-year asthmatic, and I want cleaner air for everybody. I believe in greener energy future. I believe in jobs that it creates. I believe in the fact that we could reduce our rates. We could make making things better for everybody by advancing technology within it. BPU's done an excellent job of this. I think it's a great place to begin this process. I think we can lead in this county and in this area in green energies. I think we show everybody that, as we've done so many times before, we're good at this. We can lead. I've been here my entire life. I'm 50 years old. I married my wife 25 years ago. We have 3 children. One out of college, one going into college, one trying to. And my kids look at me and say, Dad, why do you want to do this? I said, well, it's not that I want to do this. It's that I want to show people that we can all have a hand in doing this. I can do this part. Work with me on doing this part. Let me work with you on doing your part. In this county, we have done amazing things despite incredible opposition. This is no different, and we can win together.
Our next candidate for the BPU at large, 2nd District, is Ryan Edson. Ryan?
Yeah, my name is Ryan Edson. I'm a graduate from Kansas State University. After college, I decided to move back to Wyandotte County, where I bought a house, married my wife, and now I'm raising my 2 daughters. I am the general manager for Will Fisher Companies. For the last 9 years, I have been in charge of operations, which includes sales, delivery, warehousing, setting prices, managing a budget, and setting a budget, and staying within that budget. I understand what it takes to deliver a good product at the most reasonable price. While growing up, my parents were very involved with the community, and I've kind of followed in their footsteps. I'm on the board of 2 charities. One's the Chris Kugler Memorial Trust. The other one's Helpful Hands, which was started for basically families that have unexpected medical needs. I believe with my experience, I am qualified to help run the BPU. Thank you.
Okay, we'll now move to the questions, and we'll start with Dave Reno. Your question, Dave.
Thank you. I'm going to stick with the question I've asked twice tonight because I think it's an important question. If I went door to door in the whole of Wyandotte County and I asked residents, tell me what's the most important issue facing you as concerns BPU, what's the answer they would give me? And what are you going to do about that in the next 6 months?
Let's start with Ryan Edson.
Well, I think the number one thing you hear is the rates are too high. I mean, that's everything you hear. I do, and I have to agree. I do agree that, like John said, going green and those initiatives are great things. But with that, I mean, it's cost. I mean, it is very expensive to do. And I think with the amount of people in poverty in Wyandotte County, is that the right thing to do? I think we need to do it, but I also think that if you want to be all green, maybe you should pay for higher rates to offset that cost.
Okay. John Martindale.
Again, everything I hear when they hear that I'm going for a BPU seat is, well, why are the rates high? Well, I think part of it is, they may not understand that the rates, they are high, yes, but they don't understand what they're getting. They don't understand what they're seeing on their bill. They don't understand, well, all these taxes, all these slots. I think part of it is not just explaining what they're paying, but what it's going to. I think it's an education issue. They have to see why we're doing what we do, what we're doing what we do, what we're doing to avoid more higher rates. And like I said before, green energy is, yes, it's expensive to start up. Absolutely, no argument. Solar, wind, whatever we get, it's expensive. However, long-term, it does take things down. I mean, I'm not saying we jump into it all at once. I don't want 100% tomorrow. Well, and that's not true, I do. But it's not reasonable. What I want to see is, BPU has green energy programs. 43% is green energy. We're working that direction. I think we can work a little bit faster without hiking rates horribly or even at all. but we have to get the community on board with us. Make them understand what we're doing. Make them a part of what we're doing. The community solar program is a good start. But I think we need to reach out and say, this is what we're doing. We can show you more. This is what we've done. We can do more. And work hand in hand with the community.
Okay. Brian Messmer.
Well, I think that seems to be a common trend here that rates, when you talk to people, people think the rates are too high. I think that everything needs to be done that can be done not to increase rates. Take a look at cost, make sure there aren't excessive costs that are associated with any types of increases. I think that rates need to probably be looked at real hard and not be raised if at all possible. Another thing that I think needs to be addressed is the pilot tax. The pilot tax is, everybody knows it's on the BPU bill. I don't think a lot of people understand it. It's actually, I think, it's a UG charge that was put on there. And I think that at some point it might need to be looked into and figured out if that's the right place for it to be, or at least explained a little bit better to people, and find out if the percentage that it's at right now is appropriate compared to other cities, and at the same size as to kind of what we are. It seems that ours is substantially higher than other cities. So that's what I think.
Okay. Mary Gonzalez.
I'll have to agree with Mr. Mesmer. Our pilot is higher than some other places, but you have to understand that it's not controlled by our board. It's controlled by the Unified Governments Board of Commissioners. They set the pilot. We bill the pilot on our bill, and pilot means payment in lieu of taxes. That means we're paying the unified government that amount of money because we're not paying taxes on the utilities buildings. And another point that someone made, and I'm not really sure who, is that we do need to educate our public a lot more, because both the bills are together, and so everybody assumes that that's their power and water bill, and it's really just a portion of it. Our pilot is 11.9%, and that is high. I think the national average is somewhere between 6 and 7. I would love for ours to be lowered, but like I said before, that's out of our hands. But and I will say the most of the time I'm talking to our ratepayers, our customers, our consumers. They're concerned about the high cost of energy. But I will have to say that we're probably the only company that tries to help you spend less. We have a lot of ways to show you how to insulate your home, and we show you ways that you can save energy, and so we've seen that actually in the last few years, a decline in the amount of energy that our residential customers are using.
Now we'll go to Edgar Galicia with the Central Avenue Betterment Association.
As a community organization, as a non-for-profit, Central Avenue Betterment Association has enjoyed the benefits of sponsorship and donations from several organizations, including the BPU. However, is there a balance between charity and service cost that the BPU holds in their finances? Why not a profit sharing where the partners, the community partners that BPU has, paying for the bills every day or every month, get some of that profit back? So the question specifically is, why not a profit sharing system for a community?
We'll start with Mary Gonzalez.
Well, because we're a municipal and we are not, and we're not a profit sharing, what's the name for that? That kind of utility. In a municipal utility, you actually just give back to the community in the way that we give to youth programs and other things. And we're not investor-owned is the name I'm thinking of. If we were an investor-owned utility, then there would be profit sharing with the people who are invested in that, but we're municipal. And so our money goes back into the community in other forms, like giving to the not-for-profits and the youth organizations that we do.
Okay.
Brian Messmer?
Yeah, I think it sounds like a great idea if it's something that can be done. I think Mary kind of explained it doesn't sound like it is something that can be done the way the BPU is set up. There are charities, like you said, that they donate to, and if that's their way of giving back, then maybe that's the only way they can give back to the community. But I think the BPU, from what I've seen, is heavily involved in the community and the donating and the giving. And they seem like a really good charitable company. They put on a big golf tournament that I was at a few weeks ago, and that's raised over, I think, $500,000. And that all goes back to local charities. So they do a lot of good for the community. And back to kind of your question, I might be kind of repeating myself here, but if it's something that could be done, it'd be worth looking into, but I don't have an answer for that.
John Martindale?
Like you said, being it is, the BPU is set up as it is, that's hard. I mean, at best it's hard, and I don't think it's even close to set up, but it's also set up as a, if I understand it correctly, the profits from BPU aren't profits. They're residual that they have to be given somewhere. Community service is great, charity is great, but also goes towards the improvement of the better water, more reliable power. It would be great if we had the ability to give back rebates, as I've heard some cities do. However, we're not there, and that's something that'd be something we'd like look for in the future. But it'd be restructuring a very large organization that does what it does where it can. If you've ever been to a BPU meeting on the first and third Wednesday, you get incredible response from the board members. They come down and talk to you afterwards. They're very happy to see you every time. And the fact they want to help, and with much information and charity and everything else they do, speaks volumes of the fact that they give where they can.
Ryan Edson?
Well, I'm gonna agree with kind of all these guys. I'm not the incumbent, so I don't know all the rules, and like Mary had stated, and I do know that BPU does give a lot back. I was with Brian, or not with him, but we were at that same golf tournament, and it was amazing to watch how many people were there. And I mean, I was at the golf course, and the manager of the golf course says it's the largest golf tournament he has all year. Took us 8 hours to play around a golf. That was not fun. But it is amazing what that charity, or what that group of guys that work for BPU have got together and raised money for charities that are in this community.
Okay, now we'll go to Valerie Mussett with her question.
Thank you. One question, what is a rebate program that you'd like to see the BPU put together for its community?
Okay, Ryan, we'll start with you.
Ooh, I think one thing, and I think they did it a few years back, was the buying energy efficient appliances, and they would credit you back on your bill. I mean, I heard a lot of people talking about that. I obviously did not take advantage of it. I wish I would have, but at that time I did not need new appliances. So I would like to see that come back. I mean, I've heard a lot of people in the community talking about that.
John Martindale?
Well, in addition to what Ryan just said, that was a great program. I'd like to see us get to a point in getting, it, for green energies in, that when we have excess money, it can go back. I mean, not in the form of you bought this appliance, we're giving you this much, but you've used our services and we have excess, let me give you some back. I would like to see that happen over the long term. His idea is great. I'm open to other ideas, but that's the only thing I can think of at this moment.
Brian Messmer.
Yeah, I have to kind of be in agreement with these two guys too. I remember when that rebate program was around for energy efficient appliances, and I actually took advantage of it. I know an awful lot of people did. I'm not sure exactly what all the rules to the rebates are, so I don't know exactly what type of rebates can be given out through different programs. But if there's a way that something could be done similar to that, I think it would be great. Even if they did that one there again, it was a way for a lot of people that maybe otherwise couldn't afford new appliances to put new appliances in their homes. So that was an excellent program.
Mary Gonzalez.
The program they're talking about is the refrigerator rebate program, and it was very, very successful. I think we did eventually extend it just a little bit. I did not take advantage of that, and I wish I would have. We also had a energy audit for your home that you could, I think you had to pay $50 for the audit company, but they did the door seal and the blower, and that wasn't really a rebate, but you could find out a lot of ways that you could make your home more energy efficient. And if you did any of the things that the energy audit said you needed to do to make your home more efficient, you got your $50 back that you paid for the energy audit. This is not a rebate program, but the community solar program is similar to sort of a community thing that if you want to have green energy or be green energy, you can purchase up to 10 solar panels from our new solar farm, and that information just went online this week. So if you want to know more information about that, go online and look at that. That's not really a rebate program, but it's a way to get solar energy. I think
Now-
I'm missing one, but I can't recall what it is.
Now we'll go to Mary Rupert with the Wyandotte Daily Online and her questions.
Thank you. Please tell us why you are qualified to serve on the Board of Public Utilities and include information about your educational background.
And we'll start with Mary Gonzalez.
Well, I have to admit, I have a BA, not a BS, so I'm not as strong in science and math as I would like to be, but I went that route on purpose. My qualifications are, I'm a lifelong learner, and at the utility I learn something all the time. I'm very open to new ideas and trying new things. I actually started on this journey because I felt like I needed to have my voice heard in my community. I helped with the consolidation process, and I headed up District 5 for the consolidation process in 1997, and I went through a leadership program, and I just woke up one morning and said, there's more than I can do, and I'm going to find a way that I can contribute to my community. I will have to say, honestly, when I started, I didn't know, I know how electricity was made, but I didn't know a lot about, very little about the water industry. And it's been, if you have never seen our state-of-the-art water treatment plant, you should go. It's amazing. So I've been just learning as I go. I'm good at listening and helping people try to solve their problems, and that's one of my strengths that might help me on this board.
Brian Messmer.
Well, I think that I'm quite qualified to be on the board as far as some of the things that they work with are business related, budgets, business decisions. It's what I've done my whole life. I've grown up in a family business. I've bought and sold businesses. I've worked extensively in the service industry. I've had a retail store. I've worked with a lot of interior designers, a lot of home builders, a lot of architects. I've just worked with all types of people in all types of different industries. I feel like I can just basically do anything that needs to be done there. I feel like I'm quite well qualified.
John Martindale.
Well, I am also a lifelong learner. I've gone to college for both technical classes, as in, solar, technological, circuitry, computers. I have not gotten a degree. I'll be forward about that. I am a voracious reader. I grab every manual I can about everything I can from water treatment. I've been to our water treatment plant. It is impressive. It's huge. I had no concept of the scale until I got there. I make a habit of asking questions that aren't asked. I've done this most of my academic life. I've helped my children all the way up till they start college. And that's 2 so far, 1 to go. I have looked at programs left and right to better what my focus is. And just in the last few months, I've read 4 books on energy, solar, and haven't done water, I'll be honest. But it's something that, if it's there, I'll find it. I research incredibly well. And I'm a guy, I like fixing things.
Ryan Edson.
All right, well, I kind of covered this in my opening statement, but I'm a graduate from Kansas State University. I'm the general manager of Will Fisher Companies, which is an Anheuser-Busch distributor here in Wyandotte County. I'm in charge of managing the sales team, operations, pricing, just running the whole company. I've been doing this for 9 years. I don't know what else really to say, but I believe I can. I don't know anything about the power or the water, but I know how to run a business.
Okay. Elnora Jefferson, your question.
Okay, thank you. Now, this question, I'd like for you to kind of use your imagination and, just kind of flow with what happens here. What BPU policies now and in the future would you think will enhance the Northeast Master Plan? And that master plan I'd like for you to look at in terms of not only the infrastructure, but on the human capacity building. Look at the Northeast like, it's not quite as bad, but like Greensburg or Joplin, and some of the things that had to go into the rebuilding of those communities. So once again, the question is, what BPU policies that exist now or in the future do you feel that you would pursue that would enhance the rebuilding of the Northeast Master Plan process?
Let's start with Mary Gonzalez.
Well, Ms. Jefferson, I have not attended any meetings for the strategic plan there yet, but, or master plan. I do know that I was very active in the Rosedale master plan that started last year, and that's going to mean enlarging the substation that's there to better serve the hospital, KU Hospital. But for the Northeast, I think I'm not sure there would be any policy changes, but if we wanted to work with the master plan, we would need to look at ways to make the homes more energy efficient. And I know they're working on trying to make the neighborhood, trying to get rid of the blight and make the neighborhood in some way that we could partner in that. The utility is always a good partner with the community. So finding a way to partner with that and trying to, in enhancing the neighborhood, and trying to find a way to make the older homes more energy efficient. And for the human part, just trying to be a good neighbor, trying to always be responsive to the needs. I know sometimes the people, we've heard complaints that we charge more in certain parts of town, and that's false. We do not do that. We charge per kilowatt hour, but there's a way that we could partner with and have the human part of that too, because the BPU can be a good neighbor, and we want to be.
Ryan Messmer.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the policy that you're talking about. But I do understand that if there's something that could be done over in that area, and I was on the board, I would want to look into what good things could be done. And I wish I had a better answer for you right now, but I just don't know enough about that to give an intelligent answer. So I'm sorry.
John Martindale.
You're going to hear a vast repeat of what he just said. I used to live over near the northeast section on Leavenworth Road. I know how bad it can be over there. But I don't know what policies are in place in the BPU. I'm not in the BPU like Mary is. She has much better understanding of that. But I believe, going into your question, using your imagination. I imagine working with the community, and I imagine being out there physically with them, showing them that as representatives from BPU, we're there. Not just physically, not just when we're there, but when we're not there, we're still there. We're still getting you power. We're still getting you good water. I imagine showing them that we're not as bad as you think. BPU has kind of a bad reputation amongst many people as being, this thing they don't understand. That's education. That's taking them by the hand. And I imagine that will cause wonderful results.
Ryan Edson.
Well, I agree. I don't know about all the policies or any of that, but what I do know from being out and talking to people and people that work for BPU and other things that one thing talking to some of the employees is that they don't like having us paying, Capital Electric to come work on power poles. And, you talk to one group of people and they say, well, we don't have any linemen, or we don't have enough linemen, we're not staffed. Well, why? I mean, does BPU have are they going to these high schools, and is there any kind of recruitment process to get these kids, that don't want to go away to college and have, maybe go into the skilled trade of becoming a lineman, or what can we do to create something like that? It's kind of my thought on it.
Okay. Now we'll move into closing remarks, and you will have 1 minute, and we'll start with Ryan Edson. Ryan?
All righty. Why I'm running for BPU? Because as a father, I want to do what's best for my kids and the people that live in the community. Every time I open a bill, there seems to be an increase, whether it's in my BPU bill, school tax, community college tax, and so on. I want to find a way, I want to find out why, and as a community leader, what can we do to change this?
Okay. John Martindale?
I've talked to a couple of unions. They have prepared their people for green energy, for installation, for maintenance. They're ready. The technology is available. The skills are there. Last year, 2015, 2016, Kansas was number 4 in green energy jobs in the country. We are prepared to be much better. I would like to be a part of that. I want to see this place grow phenomenally. I've been in Wyandotte County all my life. There was a time when I was fresh out of high school, college. Oh, I could be anywhere. 2 years later, you can't get me out of here. Not with a crowbar, not with a bribe. I love this place. I brought my wife here. I didn't go to her city. Wichita wasn't far. But this is where I belong. and I want to give back the love I've learned here, back to where it belongs. If you'll vote for me on November 7th.
Ryan Mesmer.
Well, as I said in my opening statement, I'm running for the board because I want to be in decisions that impact our community. And I choose to live here in KCK. I don't have to live in KCK, but this is my home. I've spent my whole life here. I've raised my family here. And I'd like for it to be a place that my kids and their kids would want to raise their family. I'm proud to live here, work here, and enjoy all the amenities that our community has to offer. And my goal is to see the community move forward in a progressive direction for all our families and future generations by making smart business decisions and listening to people and our citizens' concerns. Thank you.
Mary Gonzalez.
Well, first of all, I'd just like to thank everybody for sticking around and for putting on the forum tonight. I have led and I will continue to lead by example with honesty, intelligence, strength of character, integrity to guide in my decision making. I have been very fortunate in my life to be surrounded by people who say, we know your heart and we know your commitment to your community. And I will, no matter the outcome of this election, I will continue to work very hard to make the BPU, Kansas City, Kansas, Wyandotte County, this community, my community that I love. So far in my campaign, I'd like to tell you that I've been endorsed by my life, by my family, and by my friends. And I'd like to be endorsed by you. Thank you.
Okay. Let's give the candidates a hand.